What the fuck is up this week, y'all? How y'all feeling? How you doing? If y'all new here, my name's Ciara, and this is Self-Made Energy, where we want for nothing because we can manifest anything. And this week, you guys, I'm trying to get into something cute, something simple, something tiny for the baby. I told y'all about it last week. We finna do it this week. Let's go. So first thing I did was take the measurements of her waist, her bust, her high bust, and like from her shoulders down to her knees, so I know how big I need to make this pattern. And I know I wanted this to be a double circle skirt, so I cut out 2 rectangles 30 inches by 30 inches, and then I folded it 2 times in half. So I folded it in half, and then I folded it in half again to get a square that is 15 by 15. And then I just folded that square in half to be a little triangle, just so it was easier for me to cut things out evenly. And then I moved on to cutting out the waistband. It's going to be on fold, 13 inches by 3 inches, which is technically 26 inches by 3 inches, but again, it's on fold. And then I cut out 2 shoulder straps on fold, 10 inches by 3 inches or 20 inches by 3 inches if it's not on fold. That's up to you with whatever fabric you got to work with. And remember to cut out 2 because you need 2 shoulder straps. And I know I wanted to have a cute little bow in the back, so I cut out 2 rectangles, 5 inches by 5 inches, and I was going to be for the bow. And I also needed to cut out a bib, and originally mine was 5 inches by 7 inches, but it was not wide enough, so I would go for 7 inches by 7 inches from Jump Street, so you don't have to do it twice. So now I'm going to pull out Trixie and start to sew everything up after I ironed and interfaced all of the pieces. Except the skirt. I did not interface the skirt because I wanted it to be nice and flowy. But everything else, I needed to be stiff. For the bib, I did a straight stitch along 3 edges, leaving one of the small edges open so I could flip it right side out. And I also clipped the corners so when you flip it, they're nice and crisp. Then I did the bow, a straight stitch around all 4 edges, leaving just a tiny opening to flip the entire thing inside out. Remember to flip the corners on all these edges as well, so when you flip it inside out, they're nice and pointy. Then I moved on to the shoulder straps. I did a straight stitch along the outside just to close it up, make it a nice little tube. I did that to both of them. And then I took my loop turner and I turned them right side out. And y'all, I would highly recommend you get a loop turner if you don't already have one. I thought it was a meaningless purchase and I wasn't going to use it, but y'all, I use this thing all the time. And it was like $10 for a pack of 3 on Amazon. I would highly recommend. I also forgot to mention I cut out a tiny little rectangle just to go around the bow and close it and hold it closed. So I did cut out a tiny little rectangle and I sewed that up, flipped it right side out the same way as the shoulder straps would have been, and I closed that up with a straight stitch. Then I took the piece that I'm going to use for the bow and I did a top stitch around the entire edge because there was a little opening and I did want it to be a little bit crispy on the edges and hold itself up a bit more because this fabric is a little light. So I made sure to do a top stitch around pretty much everything I did. Not only is top stitching a cute decorative additive, but it also adds extra strength to your pieces. And usually you would want to iron before you do any top stitching just to make sure everything is crisp and flat. But I didn't bother ironing because these pieces were so tiny and this fabric was really delicate as it is. The iron would have melted most of it. And even though this project did end up coming out fine and everything looked really cute, on other projects I would definitely iron before I did a top stitch just because it makes everything look seamless and professional. Even though this came out cute anyways, but whatever. Next. Next, I moved on to the actual circle skirt. So I took those triangles and I cut out 1 inch from the top. That would equal actually 4 inches for the skirt because it was folded 2 times on each. And then I measured down 15 inches to cut out the hem of the circle skirt. Then I'm going to open out both pieces halfway and cut an opening so I can sew both of these pieces together and join them so they can be one huge circle skirt or a double circle skirt, whatever you want to call it. I pinned both edges together, right sides together, and then we pulled out Trixie and I did a straight stitch to close both edges up to make this one complete skirt. But you can definitely save yourself some seam ripping if you only close one side of the skirt and leave the other side pinned up so you can pin the zipper on later without having to seam rip that seam open. Once I measured everything out and made sure it was the right size, I flipped it right side out and I took my waistband. You're going to put your waistband right sides together with the edge of the skirt and pin it only on one edge. You're only going to want to pin one edge, and you're going to do a straight stitch along that entire edge. I did leave an opening on one side of the skirt because I knew I wanted to add a zipper, so I didn't close it fully. Once I was done sewing that on, you take it out the sewing machine and you're going to want to do a double fold hem and pin it to the waistband at the stitching that you just sewed. Oh my God, these are horrible words. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Then I took that waistband and I did a double fold and pinned it in place in the stitching that I just did, because I'm going to do a stitch and a ditch to secure this in place. And I also forgot to put my freaking tag on. So last minute I threw that joint on and it looked raggedy as fuck. Thank goodness this is just a try on, because I am going to have to make a couple adjustments once I'm done. Once I had the waistband secured in place the way I wanted it to be, I carefully and slowly did a stitch and a ditch and hoped that I could hide all the stitching so it would be seamless in the end. And I think it worked out pretty good. You can't see these stitches. It's fire. I also ended up doing a top stitch on the waistband, so it makes it look even more cohesive and more flat and professional. And this is the part where you would figure out where you want your bib and your shoulder straps, pin them in place, and do a top stitch. And as you can see, this bib is way too small. Like I said, I ended up making a bigger one, but I just used this clip because I did the other one off camera. Once I was done attaching all those things, it was time to attach the zipper. And this is not the video to learn how to attach a zipper. I struggle with attaching a zipper, so don't follow this tutorial for that. But basically what you want to do is take your zipper, open it up where the teeth are facing outwards, and you want to fold your fabric down and pin it in place so the teeth are barely sticking out beyond the fabric. So once you zip it up, the zipper is invisible, quote unquote invisible. Technically you can still kind of see it, but it gives the illusion of invisibility, you feel me? And of course, don't forget to do a double row hem around the entire skirt, which is so much freaking fabric because it's a double circle skirt. So girl, you're gonna be hemming for days, but make sure you do it because it makes it look so much more professional. And when you twirl around, oh my God, so cute. So make sure you double roll fold that hem. And y'all, I'm hype as fuck, you feel me? I've been using my zipper foot, my buttonhole foot. I just been switching all the feet out on my machine, and I never been doing that before. Confidence is key, y'all. Try it. After that, I sewed the buttonholes in because I knew I wanted to attach the strap with cute little glittery buttons. And I sewed the bow on the back by hand, and I sewed the buttons on the strap by hand. And of course, the personal touch with the Cricut. And this joint's done. Y'all ready for the review? Alright y'all, that's all I got for you this video. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I don't got a schedule, so I'ma just be posted whenever. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified when them videos drop. Alright y'all, until next time, I wish you all love, peace, and cupcakes. Bye.